We are free. We should walk as free men. We've been free for 100 years, but we have never acted free. His thrust today is not trying to give anybody a guilt trip, but those of us who are guilty of inaction today.
Excuse me for interrupting, but what does that mean?
Okay, that means that we, the black people today, despite all that slavery did to us, all that poverty has done to us, all the sociological ills that have been thrust upon us have done for us, cannot overlook our own responsibility in trying to cure that. And too often, we as black people, because external forces have done this to us, now depend on the same external forces to undo it. And what Minister Farrakhan is saying is that no, we didn't put ourselves in slavery. No, we did not deprive ourselves of educational opportunities. No, we did not put ourselves in economic deprivation. But we can get ourselves out. And we have the responsibility to do everything in our power to get ourselves out. So this is why he has the economic program that he has today, for instance. No one can say, okay, we're the last hired, first fired. Not if we hire and fire ourselves. And there are opportunities. No one, although there are overt attempts to stop this program, no one can and does, covert. No one can or does overtly just say, look, we don't want Farrakhan's products on the market. No, nobody's crazy enough to say that. That's too obvious. They do other things. They go and scare the folks who were the 5 companies who were going to make them for us and stuff like that. They're not going to just come out, and as long as nobody just comes out and stands in our way and says, then we have no excuse for not going ahead with the program. So, consequently, he goes to Detroit. You know what the unemployment rate is among blacks in Detroit. And he says to them, look, here's a line of products. First of all, they're quality products. They're not hard to sell. All right, here's an opportunity. You can take these products that everybody buys. Right? God has just guided him so well. If you notice all of the black self-help programs, they usually require 2 things. They require a trust level. You got to trust the person that you're dealing with, the person who's leading it, okay? Because they're going to be holding something that belongs to you, some funds or something that belongs to you. Mm-hmm. And or you have got to shift your budget. For instance, we have become famous for the bean pie. But that's something nobody ate. So in your grocery budget, the bean pie was not included. So in order to help us in this cause and at the same time enjoy the bean pie, you had to make room in your budget for the bean pie. Well, if you notice all of the other things that have been done for self-help, it requires that kind of shift. Minister Farrakhan comes along saying, don't trust me with your money. I'm not asking you to let me hold your money for anything. I got a product. You can buy it wholesale and you can sell it retail. You don't have to shift around. You already use soap, buy it from us. You already use deodorant, buy it from us. I mean, this is the uniqueness of the program. It requires no shift of your habits, no shift of anything, just a shift of your money to your own pockets.
Can you briefly cover the products that he or the Nation of Islam is marketing?
Okay, currently we're marketing a deodorant, liquid soap, shampoo, conditioner, hair pomade, and a lotion.
Hair oil.
Yeah, hair grease. And a lotion. Hand and body lotion.
Are they available in Los Angeles?
They're available in Los Angeles. And the other products are on the way. Clean and fresh.
Apostrophe N.
Who's got a newspaper?
Right,
that's correct.
Final call.
Final call. This is the editor. We're looking for a final call.
No. What's the question you're trying to ask?
No, I just want to show them.
He has.
Oh, you have one? Okay.
I have one.
Okay, you just want to, you're right. Clean and fresh.
Clean and fresh, okay. They are available in Los Angeles?
Yes.
Available in most major cities?
Yes.
How are they moving?
Great. In fact, for a while, until we revamped our manufacturing process, we had a supply problem in most of the cities.
Why do you think, to complete that question, that most of the observations of Minister Farrakhan that we hear, again, we in the Jewish community, has to do with Judaism and very little with black issues. In fact, I can't tell you anything about black issues other than what you have told me in the last 5 minutes. Is there a clear-cut reason for that?
Yeah, the clear-cut reason is that there's no denying the economic and political power of the Jewish community in America. Now, if the enemies of black people can bring that pressure to bear on the Nation of Islam, they feel that it could be, since they've tried everything else, the FBI has failed, the CIA has failed, and they've tried everything else, nobody else and nothing else could destroy the nation. They even tried us ourselves, we almost did it. And but nothing has been able to destroy the Nation of Islam. And so now, this is their last hope. So if they can pit the Jewish community, against it by using such people as Irv Rubin and Mordecai Levy, and then trying to make us think that they represent the broad Jewish community. Okay? Then when we respond to them, then make the Jewish community think that our attack is directed toward the Jewish community.
What percentage of the minister's message deals with Jews, Judaism, Israel, would you say?
Less than 1%. We have his tapes available right here in Los Angeles. You can buy 100 tapes right now, and just at random. And I guarantee you that at least 75 he would not mention anything concerning Jews.
Okay, thank you. Separatism, black separatism, is that at the core of the minister's message or agenda?
No.
Or is that peripheral?
No, we don't have any isms. An ism is a concept. Separation is a fact. It already exists, but the difference is that it exists to the benefit of others and not to our benefit. We're already separated. We already live in separate neighborhoods. For the most part, we go to separate schools. We have separate types of jobs usually. We're separated, but the difference is that we're separated to the extent that we are being used to enhance those from whom we're separated. We're going to be separated, then why not be separated? And if we're going to be under our own vine and fig tree, let us get the fruit of the vine and let us eat the figs.
Okay. How has the minister's message changed or evolved over the last 22 years? And am I correct in dating his rise in influence from Malcolm X's death to the present? Is that a...
No, his rise in influence, he was rising and he was influential on me before I ever met him. The first time I heard a tape of him in 1959, and he was on the rise then. And we brought him to Los Angeles in 1959, and nobody who was there has ever forgotten it. So, but as to
Was there something special that he said on that tape that...
Yes, you see, many people are trying to project Minister Farrakhan as changing the teaching of the Honorable Elijah Muhammad and trying to make us fall more into the rituals of what they call Orthodox Islam, all right? And they act as if that's something that, since the Honorable Elijah Muhammad is not here and since he's the leader of the Nation of Islam, that now all of a sudden he's going to make Arabs out of us and he's going to take us into all of this exotic practice. In 1959, right on Normandy and Jefferson, Minister Louis Farrakhan came here and taught us a lecture, and he got on the rostrum. He made salat. He taught us on the prostration on every position in the Muslim prayer and everything back there. This is no change, and it's what the Honorable Elijah Muhammad wanted. It's the reason he chose Minister Farrakhan as his successor, because this man has a knowledge of the direction in which the Honorable Elijah Muhammad wants us to go. So it has evolved naturally.
Right.
It's been a natural evolution, from one stage to another.
What about the cleavage that exists between the two groups, the American
Muslim
Mission and yours? Now, ADL says that they are an enormously larger group, with maybe 100,000 members, and you have 5,000 to 10,000 members.
Well, I have I have that document, and first of all, you have to look at the date on that document.
That's 1984.
Right. I think if you update it, they would change their figures a little bit. But even if there were no change, you know, they did a quantitative analysis and not a qualitative analysis. You know, I wouldn't care about the numbers. I think that if Gideon had worried about numbers, you know, he never would have won the war. And even David, you know, David did it by himself with the whole army being put to flight. David defeated Goliath by himself. So, you know, we're not into the numbers game. And, you know, but as far as we don't have a bad relationship either with the American Muslim Mission at this time. The Honorable Elijah Muhammad's son, Jabbar, formerly known as Herbert, who managed Muhammad Ali,
Right.
came to our Jummah prayer about 3 weeks ago, sat right next to me. We prayed together right on the floor. And he was introducing me to his son and telling him how Malcolm brought him to Los Angeles, and he met me, you know, years ago, back in 1958 and all. I mean, we have a very good relationship. In fact, some of Minister Farrakhan's family is married to some of Imam Warith bin Muhammad's family, and you know, so you know, it's an interfamily thing.
Okay. Theologically, is there a great deal of difference between the Nation of Islam and its beliefs and Muslims in the Middle East?
No. Theologically, there is no difference. There's a difference sometimes in concept, and every time Minister Farrakhan has had an opportunity to talk to Muslims of other persuasions in other countries, they all come away closer and with a better understanding. You know, and he has never retreated from his position vis-a-vis the Honorable Elijah Muhammad, Master Farah Muhammad, or anything like that. So it's just a matter of the concept, and this is you can see the Sunnis, the Shiites, the Alawites, and that obviously tells you then that there's some interpretation problems. Right?
And there always will be, whether it's more than one person involved. In Wali's presentation to the City Council on Tuesday, he said, he talked of being thankful to the Honorable Elijah Muhammad for giving meaning to my life and to the lives of legions of other young black men and women throughout America. My point is that he emphasized, or seemed to emphasize, young. In much of the literature, I see youth emphasized. Is the membership primarily on the sunny side of middle age?
Well, we would.
And if so, is there a reason for it?
Well, no, we would hope so, because that's our future. And the longer that you're under a particular influence, the more it's going to affect you. And I think this is, well, I know that this is the reason that even after Moses had delivered his people from Egypt, Jehovah determined that none of those people could set foot in the promised land, including Moses, even though he was a divine prophet. There was too much of Pharaoh in him. And so they had to deal with the next generations. So this is one of the reasons that emphasis is placed on the youth, although old folks like me are still welcome.
And old folks like me, too. Could I, a Jew, and you, a black Muslim, ever be friends? I mean, realistically, friends. Or as far as you are concerned, are there too many differences that would keep us apart?
There are not too many differences that would keep us apart. The answer is yes. You know, the Honorable Elijah Muhammad taught us that the ingredients of heaven are money, good homes, and friendship in all walks of life. He did not exclude any.
I'm sorry. Taught us that the ingredients of heaven are money,
good homes, and friendships in all walks of life. That's when you're at peace.
If you had, or if the minister had, an all-Jewish audience at his command for an hour or so, what would be the nature of his message?
I have no idea, but if you could arrange it, I'm going to beg him to let me be there.
Actually, I really was being more serious than theoretical about it.
Well, let me say this. He has not said anything about an audience of that type. He does have a lecture that he has prepared that he has for a strictly white audience. And I don't know when or where he's going to deliver it. He's toying with the idea of the name now. And he's thinking of naming, it's tentatively named as a working title for whites only. Okay? But as far as just having a Jewish audience, he's never discussed that. I don't have any idea.
Well, I'm not sure in my saner moments that ever could be assembled. But what I was getting at was if this could be a direct pipeline rather than routing it through the media or leaders or any other facility, what would he say if he had Jewish ears directly to speak to?
I know that he would welcome it. In fact, he had approached Nathan Perlmutter, back during the big Jesse Jackson controversy. Right. Yeah, the late Nathan Perlmutter. He had approached him, and there was one other very prominent rabbi. I can't remember which one it was, but I know he had approached both of them.
Do you know what Perlmutter, how he responded?
He had agreed, and then after some further coaching or something about the whole Jesse Jackson thing, then he refused.
Speaking of Jesse Jackson, apparently he repudiated the minister last month. The Los Angeles Times reported it on June the 7th. How is that news characterized by the minister?
Well, first of all, he didn't repudiate. The thing that the Chicago Tribune and some of the other media were careful to note, much to their chagrin, was that he still refused to repudiate Minister Louis Farrakhan, the man. Still refused to do that. His only repudiation was of his message. All right. Now, Minister Farrakhan dealt with that, and he's dealing with that on this tour. The title of his lecture when he comes to Los Angeles will be Politics Without Economics is Symbol Without Substance. And I can't think of a better place for him to talk about that behind the way the mayor and his folks have acted than Los Angeles. Detroit was nice, St. Louis was nice, Miami and Chicago. But I'm waiting for Los Angeles because that message has more meaning here than any city we've been to so far. But that's how he, when he looked at it, because and we met with many of the black leaders in Chicago, most of whom were very disturbed by Jesse's stand, and he had to ameliorate them and say, look, I'm not going to attack my brother. And then that's when he began to make them understand that as a politician, you have to look at the trough you're going to eat out of. And that's what commands your actions, and he understands that. He doesn't approve of it.
You have to live with people, and you have to get along.
That's right.
How would you characterize the segment of the black community where you have the strongest support? Up to here, it's been popularly characterized in the media as the fringe elements, the radicals, the extremists. Would you disagree with that? If there has been a change from the outer fringe to the mainstream, what has brought that about?
Well, information dissemination is what brought it about. When the Honorable Elijah Muhammad first started, and in fact when I first came into the nation in the late 50s, that was certainly true. In fact, at that time, the Honorable Elijah Muhammad did not have a school teacher in our little struggling schools who had graduated from college. As we progressed, he had 47 schools throughout the nation, and every teacher in there had a college degree. But all of them were not certificated in their various states. We kept progressing to the point that all of the teachers were certificated and all of the schools were accredited. And what brought that about was primarily Muhammad Speaks newspaper, because people got a chance then to see for themselves what he was doing and what he was saying. There was a senator, I can't, you remember his name? Senator Gottschalk, state senator of Illinois, who wanted to close down our school in Chicago. And we invited him to the school. He went to the school, and when he came out, he not only recommended state open, but he tried to get state funding to help support the school. You know, so this is the type of thing. And it's the same with the black people, of course, where you have those who are insulated from the masses of the people, where his attraction already was. Then they had to depend upon the media, you know, to get their news. So then when we produced our own media, and we were finally able to persuade them to look in that, then they began to get closer. They said, is this what he's doing? Well, let me go here. Well, let me go see. And then at that point, we've got all sorts of people. I understand we've got 3 or 4 architects right here in Los Angeles that are devoted members. You know, we've got one of our most popular tapes that's out now, Anna Booklet. It's by the minister's personal physician, Dr. Aline, on AIDS.
And Anna Booklet, ANNA.
Right. He has a booklet as well as a tape.
I'm sorry.
Right. He has a booklet and a tape where we have all sorts of people from all walks of life. You know, it's right across the spectrum.
Would it be accurate then to say that you feel that you have moved in from the periphery to the mainstream in the black community, or is that an overstatement?
No, the mainstream was what you all call the periphery. And sometimes I do feel we may have moved it a little too far. You were mentioning the friends groups. If we've lost any of them, I would do my best to recapture them.
Then, from what segment, at the risk of being repetitious, from what segment does the thrust of your support come in the black community?
All segments, right across the board.
More men than women, more young than old, more professional than blue collar, or?
No, there's a mixture economically and socially, but age-wise, yes, more youngsters. And now, whereas up until 1975, the men outnumbered the women about 3-1, today it's about equal. So that's one change. It's about 50% men, 50% women. One of the reasons is we've gotten away from the Arabian tradition of women walking behind and staying home minding the babies and giving women freedom.
I understand. Okay.
A couple of more questions.
Just one more. How do you believe you are perceived by the Jewish community generally, since Jews don't agree with each other on anything? Perhaps it's not.
I think that generally the Jewish community is being victimized by those who spoon feed them and those who control the press, their press. I subscribe to several Jewish publications, and I see the things that are imprinted upon them, and I get the different views. You know, I subscribe to some who are, for instance, pro-Kahani, and I subscribe to some who are anti-Kahani, and then I look at how they project things, and each one of them is presenting their own views, but distorting in an attempt to get the broad Jewish community to go along with their point of view. So the Jewish community, like all other communities, is really being victimized by the propaganda makers. That's what's happening. And I think that the general Jewish community views us negatively. I don't think there's any doubt about that. But without valid reason, other than the fact that they're being influenced by those upon whom they depend for their information.
And if they knew the rest of the agenda, I don't want to put words in your mouth.
It would be a totally different picture. This is why Minister Farrakhan wanted to sit down with the Jewish leader. Because everybody is talking for him. Talk to him.
Thank you very much for taking the time. I appreciate it. Thank you very much.
Thank you.
May I ask just a personal question just about you? You are from Los Angeles?
I'm almost a native. I lived here for about 15 years. I left here in 1967, and I've been gone ever since, except, just in and out. But I was the minister of the mosque here in Los Angeles when we were attacked by the police department in April 27, 1962. I was also still here when the whole rock... Yes, I was the minister of the mosque here on April 27, 1962, when the police attacked the mosque and shot up the mosque, killed our secretary, crippled one of our brothers for life, wounded six altogether. Caused several innocent brothers to go to jail, including the present minister, Brother Wazir Muhammad, including the brothers you see running around here from CBS, Brother Miriam Muhammad. They went to jail as a result of it. One of them 40 years. They missed on that one. But I was also still the minister here when the rebellion broke out in Watts. And again, they stormed the mosque and bragged to the New York Times that they shot it up like Swiss cheese, and attempted again to imprison 59 of our brothers, but fortunately, for a change, justice prevailed.
May I ask how old you are?
56.
Thank you very, very much. I appreciate it.
Thank you.
It's a pleasure. Thank you very much.